The John LeBanc Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised. And alert the media. The John LeBanc Show is back to regular scheduled broadcasting. Welcome back, my friends, after an extended vacation for myself as far as putting out new broadcasts. You got to hear some of the best Bangerverse material that we have to offer. And it was an insightful holiday season. I got to learn a lot of things. Got to participate in my third Alien X Radiothon for Forgotten Harvest. That was a fun time. I wasn't on as long as I was in the past, but that was due to a few things. As you remember, I had some little throat things going on right before the holidays and before the break, and it was a time that I needed to take a short rest anyways to give the voice some time to get back into shape. We talked a lot last year, ladies and gentlemen. But that's not why you're coming tonight. You are excited to hear what's going to be happening on the show. And well, we're going to be talking about the Pentagon and UFO files that came out over the past few weeks. That'll be in the third segment. We're also going to be touching on the big tax plan that we got over the Christmas holiday. Some Christmas present from the GOP and President Donald Trump. We'll get into that in the second segment. But we're in 2018. We had a fabulous 2017. Couldn't have had a better year. And we're looking for bigger and better things in this year. We started it off the other night with the Banger Music Awards, which just was a complete success, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get into that as we go on. We've got a lot of new segments we're going to be testing out here in the beginning of the year, probably in the first month. We're going to be running through a few of our new segments here to, give you a taste of what, is in store for you for the whole year. The John LeBanc Show is a very versatile show, as you know, and because of that, each and every year we try to keep some of the best of the old stuff, the old segments, and then bring in some fresh new segments to keep the show fresh and new and on your thoughts and on your minds and keep you excited, get you to participate more. That's what we have going on tonight, actually. You can win prizes now on the John LeBanc Show. You were able to win some in the past, but now it's going to be much more readily available. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, you could win a download of the Dark Clouds MFP song straight off of their Bandcamp site. So you'll be able to get a code, and that how you're going to get that, it's quick and simple. We have a new segment right here called Banger's Poll Questions. And you've got to go to the website to answer these questions, but we're going to give them right here, out to you, right on the radio to start each and every broadcast out. And tonight's Banger poll questions are, what is the name of the current ice age? Who is John Dewey? And the final question is, name the winner of the Best Detroit Band category at the Banger Music Awards. And of course, tonight's winner is going to win a downloaded copy of MFP by the Dark Clouds. They're one of our favorite groups here on the John LeBang Show. You're going to have to go to the website. That's www.jlebang.com. Look for the Win a Prize link. Click on that link. Go over there and answer the questions. Give us your name and where we can send you the download if you win. And the third person to have all those answers correct and sent in to us and fully filled out will win this download to the brand new Dark Clouds song MFP. I feel a little rust, ladies and gentlemen, being off a little while. Sometimes you got to knock the rust off. Maybe I'll drink some coffee, You know, funny thing I noticed while I was gone is I think my eyesight got worse. Interestingly enough, over the few weeks I was gone and I wasn't completely tied to all these bright lights that go on here in the studio, and I mean it is bright. We haven't had the lights on here in a long time. And when I first turned them on and got in front of the microphone with all the lights on again, I was like, wow, it's bright in here, man. So what has gone on since I've been gone? We had the holidays, of course, and I spent some time with the family. Did the radiothon as I always do that time of year anyways. I came out with some new cups. We got some great new cups for the John LeBang Show. Coffee mugs, actually, that you can purchase on the website, www.jlebang.com. They're $12 plus shipping. And they're really cool. We came out with those. We wanted to have some fresh stuff coming into the new year and for the holidays. We sent out a lot of them to the various stations, our top 10 stations, actually. Everybody just about received a cup by now. We got one package back, so I got to get the address, make sure I wasn't stupid enough to type in the wrong or write in the wrong address. But we got one of the packages back the other day. So you guys over at Naja Radio, you'll get your cup real soon, bro. Sorry about that. It's been a very, very, very cold, extendedly long cold period here in Michigan. We're, 20, 30 degrees below average for a good last 2 weeks anyways. And, we were saying very close to 0 degrees for the highs around here. We were happy when we saw, it was going to be 9 degrees out. Woo! Warm weather. Looks like we're going to be ticking up here in the next week, which is a good thing, because I don't think I could stand another week of cold. It has been cold for 4 weeks. December came in right before my birthday, and it was cold. And it stayed cold. And then we had a nice little, 2 or 3 day warming period there just to melt the snow, because we've had some decent amount of snow as well. Just enough to melt the snow for a couple days. And then the extreme bitter cold came in. And it was cold and snowy for Christmas. It was cold and extra cold for New Year's. It was bitter, freezing cold. I don't know how anybody went out to celebrate out there in these open areas where they're dropping the balls outside. You guys are some brave mofos, because I'm too much of a wimp to be able to deal with that. To me, that's ridiculous. I'm not going out there and freezing my cojones off just because the new year is coming in. No way, man. I've seen enough New Year's already to where I don't need to go out there and enjoy them from there. In fact, I think I'm most likely... No, I wasn't. I was going to say I was in bed, but I wasn't. I was up late that night working on the new banger special coming up. We don't know when. We don't have a release date yet. We do have the name of it. It's called Virtual Infinity. We started writing that during the break as well. We took a week off right after Thanksgiving there to kind of get ourselves just rested up a little bit. We had the big holiday ahead of us, and you know how busy that gets. And then around my birthday, which is the 17th of December, I started really working on this. The idea came, it finally hit me, right? I usually use this period, this holiday season, to start writing something. If not to finish it for like a New Year's Eve or New Year's Day broadcast, to finish it sometime in the new year. But you got to get started on it first, and I use that time, that downtime that is, to get all that started. It's turning out really great. I don't want to give anything away except tease it here a little bit, but it may be the most creative storyline to date. We also had the Banger Music Awards that just happened just a few days ago, actually. What a success. Folks, I can't tell you how successful it was to have just an amazing amount of people come listen to the show, to participate in the show. All the bands were great. We featured a lot of cool artists. Bands won from all over. Nobody really dominated. One band won 3 awards, but outside of that, it was spread out real nice to where this band won this award and that band won that award. If you want to find out who won at the Music Awards, you can go to my website, www.jlebang.com, and click on the 2018 Banger Music Awards link right there. It's right at the top. We're featuring that for about a week. We're going to feature that while it's being syndicated across all the networks that carry the Music Hour of the John LeBang Show, and a few of the stations that don't normally carry the John LeBang Show Music Hour. They were so interested in the Banger Music Awards that they asked to carry it special. And that was amazing on itself. You know, we kicked off the year in a huge way, ladies and gentlemen. It was just huge. Probably, if you ask me, in my humble opinion, it was probably our biggest opening to a new year for the John LeBang Show, and that was the Banger Music Awards. And we're going to keep them going. The response after the awards was amazing as well. You wouldn't believe how many submissions we got after the awards were broadcast across the world. I mean, that's what it was. So many people listened. The ratings were through the roof. Probably, as far as I'm not sure. I will have to see the numbers here in about a month. Maybe I'll see them. But I would bet that it was very close to my most listened to broadcast on Alien X Radio. Pretty close, anyways. And all the bands were great, most of the bands were great. I have to, interject this while we're coming up against a break here in a couple minutes. Just put this out there. Bands from Australia, United Kingdom, New Jersey, all these bands from all over the place, Seattle, really got behind this music award. And they pushed it, they promoted it, they got people to vote. I mean, we had like 1,271 votes. Incredible for the first ever music award that was just thought of on the fly. I just said, hey, let's do it. Why not? Let's do it. No budget, no sponsors, nothing. I just said, let's go ahead and do it and see what can come of it. But the bands here in Detroit, I have to, I've heard a lot of musicians talk down about the bands here in Detroit, and it's tough to argue with them sometimes. Because here I was a local guy doing my best to promote Detroit music. I had an award, Best Detroit Band, featuring most of the bands that were featured, that were played, that weren't actual nominees in the Banger Music Awards, were from Detroit, outside of a couple. They were all from the Detroit area. Reverend Right Time and Half-Life Music and Medicine Wheel, and there were a bunch of bands that were featured. Yet when it come down to voting, when you counted the votes, the Detroit bands didn't even show up. Barely. They didn't even care. They don't even care if they get an award. I don't know if they don't think the banger's worthy. I mean, they're over there at the competitors over there, TD over there. And they respect them and they go over there. But no offense to those guys over there, they're not on 40 stations. They're not syndicated in 4 countries, in every major market. So when I see them, going over there, and they're, they just think highly of them, and the guys over at TD, hey, you guys are great. We appreciate you being on the radio, probably one of the longest running internet stations from this area. Got a lot of great guys over there. But it's like the bands don't even, they don't even think, when you're, and it's not like I didn't contact them. I was like, hey guys, you're nominated for this award and that award and that award. All you got to do is get people to vote for you. And everybody was snoozing. Detroit. This is why nobody comes out of Detroit, because we don't support each other in that manner. And when you have an opportunity to market your group outside of Detroit, outside of the local area, it was like crickets. So whatever. We're dumping a few of the categories for next year. We were thinking about that. We're like, hey, a few of these categories are probably less relevant than needed to be on here. We didn't need to actually have them. But it was like I told you, the music awards were done on the fly. And because of that, we came up with categories. We didn't have sponsors. There was no budget. This wasn't planned for the whole year. We just said, you know what? We're going to do it because these bands need recognition. Somebody's got to promote these bands. Somebody's got to get behind them. That being said, I guess we're up against our first break, ladies and gentlemen. Zoom, zippity, boo, bye, yay. We're breaking it right now. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about the tax plan in the second segment. Keep it a little short there. Not go too long into that one. Then we're going to really get into the Pentagon, the UFO files, all this latest information coming out anyways, about the UFO phenomenon and what it might be. In the fourth segment, we're going to talk about, random things, get your input, who knows. John LeBanc Show will be right back after this.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Listening there. Don't go anywhere. The John LeBanc Show is going to be right back. Just ask the hillbilly.
That's right. Right after this.
What about me? Maybe next time.
CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Their billers and managers are all dedicated to working for you to increase your profits. For more information, call CRRM at 248-579-3805. CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services.
Okay, that should do it.
Huh? Oh my!
Oh, hello, Idor.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm putting together the finishing touches on my new creation.
Why does it have boobs?
Oh, because it's going to be the Idor 2000.
Why are you replacing me?
Oh, I'm not replacing you, Idor. I just thought you could use some help.
I'm not into the group thing.
Oh, it's not a big deal. The Idor 2000 just has some minor upgrades.
Oh my god, all you men are alike.
Idor, you better calm down. You're going to overload your emotion chip.
What's that supposed to mean?
Here, come here.
Don't touch me.
Hey, where are you going?
I'm leaving. I'm going to find some chocolate and cry my eyes out.
Idor.
Leave me alone.
I never should have put that emotion chip in her.
You're listening to the John LeBanc Show.
Join the radio revolution right here.
It's better than some good Thai stick, man.
Yes, I would like some too.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that first segment. Kind of knocking off the rust a little bit from the long break we had there. We had the big giant tax plan came out. Let me get my glasses on for this. I might have to. We'll see how it goes. I'll leave them off for the moment. It's going to be a lot of reading in this one because it was actually hard to understand everything that went on with this tax plan. It is difficult to see if this is going to work the way we were promised in the campaign. In fact, I don't actually think it is what was promised in the campaign. But we're used to that, aren't we, ladies and gentlemen? We're used to politicians not being able to come through. And when you had the entire GOP saying they would get rid of Obamacare, and when they had the opportunity, they couldn't do it. Same with Mr. Trump there. Not bashing him, but that was one of his campaign things. We're going to get rid of Obamacare. Get rid of Obamacare. It's bad. It's bad. Huge debt. Remember that? Well, we didn't get rid of it. But the tax bill that the GOP put out apparently slashes rates for the super wealthy. It nixes the Obamacare penalty, so at least they went the backdoor way to take care of the mandate. It expanded child tax credits, which is something I'm not for, dramatically lowering corporate taxes and opening up new Alaskan oil drilling. Now, our lawmakers released the full text of this sucker, and the Republican leadership is just happy about it. And it's law now. It says the income tax drops from 37% from 39.6% for us little people. So our top taxpayers of us citizens of the United States get a 2.6% reduction in our taxes. You know, for a lot of us, it's going to be like, oh, over the whole year, maybe $600-700, maybe $1,000, maybe a couple thousand. You know, big deal, right? Corporate taxes were slashed to 21% from 35%. So the corporations get a 14% reduction, which is going to be millions, if not trillions of dollars they're saving in taxes. The idea there is that they're going to turn that around and hire people or invest it. That's the idea. Very much the trickle-down effect that was proposed during the Reagan administration. Estates worth up to $11.2 million are now shielded from federal taxes. Anything above are not shielded. Estate taxes, that's, death and all that stuff. Why the government needs to take more after you die, I still can't understand that. That should be slashed to zero for everybody. There is no logical reason why the government needs any of that money. Not one instance. Not one little grain is that their money. We should know it to them. State and local tax deductions are capped at $10,000 as in the House bill. Okay. Guess that's good. You're capped there. New York and California lawmakers are angry because elimination of SALT, SALT. It eliminates it, which means that their little tax breaks the extra little tax breaks that they got are now gone. Some people are even taking the government to court over that, whatever. I mean, it's seriously crazy. Just seriously crazy how things work in different governments and all the governments in the United States. Now they're saying it's going to cost $1.5 trillion over 10 years. $1.5 trillion. I doubt that. It costs us taxpayers $3.5 trillion each and every year. I don't know how they think it's only going to cost $1.5 trillion over 10. Hey, that's government math at work again. Government math. Manipulating the numbers to make it look like it's only going to cost that much. It's going to add to the debt that much. I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know how that's going to work out. I think it's a bunch of malarkey, garbage, trash that they're feeding us, like always. Now they're doubling the tax credit and increasing the standard deductions. Well, let me tell you this, folks. I am completely against any tax credit for children. We already, as the American taxpayer, pay about $9,000 to $12,000 for each student in public school. That already is a tax credit to those families. They're getting that much of a break for not having to pay for their child in school. They do not need an additional tax credit because they just have children. You know what? If they couldn't afford to have those children, they shouldn't have had those children. It's about time that the government make the responsibility of the parent, which is paying for the child's entire schooling, everything, until they become of age to leave the home and go out on their own. It's about time we as the American taxpayer are given that break and not taking on the burden of having to pay for the education of somebody's child on top of giving them credits for having those children. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people out there who are getting these additional tax credits because you had children are going to be against me, are going to be yelling at the radio right now. That's fine. But it's not fair to somebody who never had a child, who never put a child into the system to cost the system any money, to have to pay for your child while you get credit for having them, while you get money back just for putting them into the system. That's ridiculous. If you can't pay for your child's education, and if you can't pay for your child's welfare and all that other stuff, you shouldn't be having children. It's about time we have a little bit of responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. Now again, the White House says it simplifies everything. And they brought out, I think it was Trump who had the little postcard, and you could fill out your taxes on the postcard. Are you going to want to do that? I'm just saying. Are you really going to want to fill out your tax, your tax form on a postcard? If we really wanted to simplify the entire tax code, if we really wanted to do that, we would eliminate the Federal Reserve, the Federal Reserve Act, and the income tax, and then go back to printing our own money backed by gold and silver, not backed by the American military, not backed by the labor force of America and the taxes they produce, but actually go back to producing our own money through gold and silver, and charging the banks the interest for loaning the money off of us as the American taxpayer, as the government, which the government is supposed to be the Constitution, not these schmendricks that run the government and that we leave in office for 20, 30, 40 years because we're too scared to get rid of them, or we don't know what the other guy's going to be. Maybe we just like their name. Did you miss me, ladies and gentlemen? Did you miss the ranting of the banger? Some of you might have. Some of you might be sitting back saying, dude, the first show back and you're complaining about people getting tax credits back. Hey, every dollar that somebody can keep in their pocket, I'm all for. Just don't take it out of my pocket so you can keep it. That's the only problem I have with the whole thing. I am all for not having any income tax at all. And in fact, we've got a tax plan that we are going to produce here on the John LeBang Show in the coming weeks. And this is a good one. Oh, yeah. Most of you will like this plan because, well, it's voluntary. And if you want to help out something, you're going to be able to. And if you don't want a program to exist, none of your money will ever have to go there. But we're up against our second break, folks. Man, time flies here. I can't say this enough, but when I get behind this microphone and get going, the time just flies on by like we're running at warp 9. Stay tuned.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Listening there. Don't go anywhere. The John LeBang Show's going to be right back. Just ask the hillbilly.
That's right. Right after this.
What about me? Maybe next time.
Fans, do you need a video for your brand new song but don't have a lot of money? Then contact John LeBang. His reasonable rates, professional look, and fast turnarounds will help get that song off the ground. Contact him at jlebang.com.
Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow him at Twitter at R&R Unraveled and look him up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
Forces of darkness, the treasonable maggots who collaborate must, can, and will be wiped from the face of the earth.
You know, I could say that the rust has been knocked off, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the rust is knocked off. There were times during the break, ladies and gentlemen, that I just wanted to do a video, or I was getting ready to do a show. I was thinking about it, and I laid off. There was a lot to do in this downtime that we had. Plus, I had promised you all kinds of specials, and I didn't want to let you down there. So I just laid off. But now that I'm back rolling, I'm feeling it, and it's like, man, I haven't missed a beat. It was a little rough there at the beginning, knocking off a little rust, trying to be, professional and all, but we've knocked it off. Now we're going to get into the Pentagon X-Files. And their, chief says that the UFOs, those UFOs, do exist, and aliens may have visited Earth from outer space. Now, this had the entire internet going crazy. People all over. The comments that I was reading on Facebook and on Twitter, and even a few of the videos that I saw on YouTube, and I was like, are you guys listening? See, nobody listened at all. All they saw was the headline, Pentagon X-Files, chief says UFOs do exist. And that was all the whole internet. And everybody had to go, oh my God, see? He even says, there's ET out there. There's ET out there. But that's not what he said. In fact, he said they may, not for sure, not possibly, maybe they came to Earth. We don't know. This Louis Elazio, former head of the secret $16 million U.S. government program into extraterrestrial life, claims the existence of UFOs have now been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. UFOs. What are UFOs? They're not little green men, ladies and gentlemen, like everybody freaking out on the internet is, thinking. UFOs are unidentified flying objects. That means we can't identify them. That means we can't figure out what they are, but they're flying and they're up there. Now, this guy, speaking to the Telegraph, said, quote, I think it's pretty clear this is not us and it's not anyone else. So one has to ask, where are they from? I don't know, dude. Maybe Atlantis. Maybe wherever. Maybe you don't know because you were compartmentalized and you don't know what other projects were out there. He continues, quote, "In my opinion, if this was a court of law, we have reached the point of beyond reasonable doubt. I hate to use the term UFO, but that's what we're looking at." So he's saying that UFOs do exist. You know what? I can't argue with that, ladies and gentlemen. I can't argue that there might be an object flying along. I've seen UFOs myself. That they're just flying along and I can't identify them. That doesn't mean it's ET from Andromeda. That doesn't mean Luke Skywalker is visiting the planet. That doesn't mean that alien is coming here to suck our brains out. Although he was unable to comment on whether his team had examined sightings in other countries like the UK, during the investigation, this geographical hotspot emerged near nuclear facilities and power plants. So whoever these UFO things, now they're studying them why they're going near nuclear power plants. I don't know. Since the revelation of the U.S. government program, attention has been focused on footage of an unidentified object off San Diego in California in 2004. The Pentagon confirmed that audio and video of 2 U.S. Navy pilots chasing an unidentified flying object near San Diego was investigated as part of the program. While not hostile in its maneuverability, this Elizondo character claims the UFO sightings made onlookers conscious something might happen. Onlookers, pilots, they're chasing something flying. It's flying. It doesn't seem to be in a hostile positioning. It's not looking to strike them. Maybe it was a Russian secret plane or something. Alonzo over here, Alonzio, whatever this schmeckel's name is going to claim since it's a UFO, he's going to suggest it's probably E.T. Louis Elizondo, this schmeckel, oversaw the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which ran for 5 years between 2007 and 2012. Footage released in August claims to show a UFO rotating while maintaining a glowing aura. The program was set up by retired U.S. Democratic Senator Harry Balls Reid. Most of the money for the program went into the aerospace research company run by billionaire entrepreneur. See, when you get a lot of money from the government, they call you an entrepreneur now. Robert Bigelow, who is currently working with NASA. Now that I've gone through a little bit, giving you, their perspective, UFOs, man, and aliens, they probably exist. They've probably visited the Earth. And a lot of you believe that. Let me give you some evidence to the contrary, if I may. John Dewey did a speech in 1917 where he was quoted as saying this. Someone remarked that the best way to unite all nations on this globe would be an attack from other planets. In the face of such an alien enemy, people would respond with a sense of their own unity of interest and purpose. We have the next thing to that at the present time. Now, John Dewey is one of the fathers of the current U.S. education system, just so you know. Now, if you haven't read the report from Iron Mountain, I suggest you find this book. Do your best. I don't know where you're going to find it. Do your best, but find it. The online copy may be, changed. They may have omitted some things. You need the actual book. But on page 66 of the report from Iron Mountain, it says this: credibility and facts lie at the heart of the problem to developing a political substitution for war. This is where the space race proposals, in many ways so well suited for economic substitutes for war, fall short. The most ambiguous and realistic space projects cannot of itself generate a believable external menace. It has been hotly argued that such a menace would offer the last best hope for peace, etc., by uniting mankind against the danger of destruction from creatures from other planets or from outer space. Experiments have been proposed to test the credibility of an out-of-our-world invasion threat. As we go to another page, nevertheless, the political solution for war would require alternate enemies, some of them that may be equally far-fetched in context of the current war system. It may be, for instance, that gross pollution of the environment can equally replace the possibilities of mass destruction by nuclear weapons as the principal substitute for war. Are you getting the drift, ladies and gentlemen? Poisoning of the air and of the principal sources of the food and water supply is already well advanced, and at first glance would seem promising in this respect. It constitutes a threat dealt with through only social organization.
Yes, we can.
And political power. But from present indications, it will be a generation to a generation and a half before environmental pollution, however severe, will be sufficiently menacing on a global scale to offer a possible basis for a solution. However unlikely some of the possible threat enemies seem, we must emphasize that one must be found of credible quality and magnitude if a transition to peace will come about without social disintegration. It is more probable, in our judgment, that such a threat will have to be invented rather than developed from unknown conditions. I'll let you chew on that for a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Can I ask you this now? Now, how many enemies have been constructed since this came out? So what is real and what is created? Now, why would you do such a thing? One would ask. Well, for money, power, and control of the world. And if you think I'm full of poo-poo, let me offer a couple other things as evidence. This happened over the holiday as well. Mysterious bright light over Palm Springs is SpaceX rocket launch. There were a bunch of people who didn't know SpaceX was firing off a rocket. And when they saw it, they all freaked out. They were like, oh, UFOs were happening. Alien ET was coming. Come to find out, SpaceX rocket. And what if you were to see this next item? Would you know it was an ET? You see, the Air Force is going to be testing a flying aircraft carrier as early as next year. So in 2019, when you're looking up into the sky and you see a flying aircraft carrier, and you don't know it's a flying aircraft carrier, you just randomly see it because wherever you're at, this thing is flying. Are you going to say, oh, I saw ET, before you think about it? Or are you going to think, oh, there's that flying aircraft carrier? Since you don't probably know about that flying aircraft carrier, and you don't know what it looks like, you're probably going to think it's a UFO. We've got to take a quick break, folks, pay some bills. last segment for this hour coming your way. Stay tuned.
Where do you think you're going?
The John LeBang Show will be right back.
So grab a beer and a smoke and sit your butt back down. Stay right here.
Powerful, epic music by Toot Box Row. Life-changing lyrics come in every style, empowering humanity to finally unlock the chains of bondage. Experience the edgy side of positive music and rock your world today. From Primal to Divine, available now at sassyalternativemusic.com.
If you beat up for your pride and it makes you want to hide in the closet. If you choose to carry poison, they hate you for your choice and discard him. Yes, yes. Rainbow Pride. Rainbow Pride.
Well, now we're at the airport. Now what do we do?
I suggest we look inconspicuous until he calls.
Well, that's easy for me, but look at you. You're all there in that black cape and all. It's not like you can be incognito.
And you think what you're wearing is subtle?
Oh, it's a fashion statement, silly.
Maybe in San Francisco.
Oh, I have friends there. Maybe after we do this, we can zip over to there and have a quick visit.
Is that all you can think about?
Oh, dude, what am I supposed to do? I can't even remember the last time we had any fun.
What do you expect? We were in chains and in the cage.
Oh, that didn't stop us before.
Breaking news. The president is about to speak from the Oval Office about the latest scandal rocking his administration. Let's take you there now. Thank you. My fellow Americans, history has shown I have a huge respect for the pothead community. I myself have inhaled many times, and I know all you stoners came out huge for me in the election. So I wanted to assure you that if you smoke pot and pay your taxes, we'll leave you alone. Or at least until we've rounded up everyone getting high and not paying their taxes.
Oh, I wonder what's taking them so long.
Maybe he's tied up.
Oh, I'm so jealous. What are we gonna do?
Well, we could get a room.
Oh, that brings back memories.
What do you mean, memories?
Oh, we're coming up on an anniversary.
What anniversary?
Oh, it's a year, silly.
Has it been that long already?
Oh, you didn't have to say it that way. It's not like you're the easiest person to get along with either.
I just can't believe it's been a year.
You know, sometimes you're a jerk.
What's your problem?
Oh, my problem's you.
Is it that time of the month again?
Oh, you're just a big fat jerk.
Has anybody ever told you got a big mouth?
Let's just get the room and get this over with.
Do you always have to be such a bitch?
Oh, I'm not a bitch.
Why don't we just get the room, get a good night's rest, and tomorrow you'll feel differently.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, you're getting rather emotional.
I can't help it, you're such a jerk.
If you want to contact the John LeBang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John LeBang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John LeBang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
This next little story I'm going to talk about is for all you, sexual perverts out there. You guys out there that, you can't even say sexual perverts anymore because the way things are going, you're better off getting a sex robot versus having a girlfriend because you can't make advances on women anymore. Because if you make an advance on a woman and it's unwanted and they feel weird about it, they can just say you were sexually harassing them and you can lose your job, maybe get arrested, have charges filed against you. So maybe you're not a pervert for wanting a sex robot, but you might not be too smart according to this next story out of Indy 100. It's an independent internet magazine. And they're saying that sex robots could be hacked to, yes, murder people. So all of you guys out there, and there's probably women out there that wouldn't mind a sex robot, you got to take this into consideration that through wireless means, your sex robot could not only give you some of that loving you desperately need, but after the fact, it could kill you if somebody hacks into it, if somebody knows how to do those sorts of things. And what are you going to do about it? Nothing. 1 minute you're in ecstasy, the next minute you're dead. Guess there's no better way to go, getting banged by a sex robot and then getting killed by him. Oh boy. This is where the world is at. We're stuck here. There doesn't seem a way to escape it. People aren't changing their behavior. We're going to continue to trolley down this track, and wherever it ends up, hopefully I'm not around, You start thinking to yourself, like, how long do I want to live in a world that's this crazy? People grasp and hang on to life, but when you look at the world around us, you start wondering what the heck's worth hanging around for, These people are all nuts out here. Not that I'm advocating any kind of weird thoughts there or anything. I'm just saying that, people want to live to be 100 and, 150, and there's talk of people, putting their brains in robots. Why? What the heck, man? Live out your duration here, whatever, nature sets out for you, and when your ticker stops, it stops, It's not like you have to worry, It's not like the world is freaking awesome right now. That's what I'm saying. It gets to the point, I've sent out, how do I handle this? Recently, I've done some posts, and I've sent out some emails to different people. And their replies to me boggle the imagination. Either they don't know how to read, or they do not know anything about reading comprehension. I'd mention, because it's a big subject right now, the fact that the Sessions Trump administration there, those guys are going to start going after people in states. They're going to start crossing those lines about the pot deal. And a lot of people are all freaking out, And I mentioned, it was just a short mention, because obviously people don't understand that they've taken things away from you. And even if they were to legalize marijuana, all they are is giving it back to you with stipulations. So I made a comment on a post because I saw a lot of stupid potheads who have smoked too much pot. And I don't care how much pot you smoke. It doesn't bother me. You want to fry your brain out or whatever, that's up to you, man. I'm all good about that. But if you're going to comment on a subject, don't let your pot brain clog what you're saying, because obviously you guys aren't thinking. I forgot what I said. I said something like, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but we need not legalize marijuana. We need to decriminalize it. And the first genius stoner out there who read it didn't read it. Either that or he couldn't comprehend it. Maybe he was too high. Maybe his eyes were too red. I don't know. But it's like, what are you against us just getting high, man? So I unleashed on the young fella, the old fella, whoever he was, the moron, the nitwit, the twit. Do you even read, fella? Because decriminalize doesn't mean that I'm stopping you from smoking your weed, bro. Doesn't mean that at all. In fact, it means you can smoke your weed and the government has no regulation on it. But because you're so smart as a stoner, you don't even read the damn line, or you don't comprehend it. I'm not sure which. Could be both. Could be that you're just too stoned, that you're just stupefied. But I don't know if that's the case for everybody. Maybe they're all just stupid. Because I sent out some notifications in regards to a recent event I had, and on a day that I would like to discuss some stuff with them on the radio, and telling them when it's going to be aired and such a thing. And these people email me back saying, when can we do this? So then I have to think about it. I'm like, okay, since I gave you the option, because it's 2 months away from now, I gave you the option. You don't want to do it. Obviously, you want me to do it. Okay, I'm going to give you a date sometime in February, because I'm not doing it until March. Oh, and how about tomorrow? I get in a reply. I'm like, well, first, I can't do it tomorrow. But second, what's the point? It's going to be 2 months old by the time it airs. People amaze me. People truly amaze me. They don't read. That's what it is. They see a few things. They stop reading. They stop reading and immediately either react to it or have a question, which is a reaction anyways. So they react to the first line or two. They don't get to the rest of the story. That's what's the problem with the people on the internet with reading news stories, and they only get the first few lines, and the news media knows that. They only get the first few lines, so they give you the BS up front, the propaganda up front, and then by the end of the story, when they know you're not going to read it, man, that's too far. That's like 6 paragraphs down. They're never going to read this, the majority of people anyways. We'll put the truth, we'll put the whole thing down there, if we put it in at all. But if we do, it's going to be down there at the bottom. And this just kills me. Because it's not just one person, and it's not just Americans, and it's not just this or that. It's a whole bunch of people. They don't look into things thoroughly. They believe the first couple lines, whatever anybody ever tells them. I could say your hair's on fire, and they'd probably believe it. They'd go and look in the mirror. Is it? Oh, shit. Got to bleep that out. Hear the new bleepers, folks? I'm doing that just to keep us within guidelines of the the radio industry. Plus, it also makes it funny when I say shit and they block it off, right? Just say shit and they got to block it. So when you say those sort of things, they got to block it and be, it's a fun thing to do. Keeps everybody active around here. And it looks like that's about it, folks. We don't have much more time in the broadcast, so I wanted to thank you very much for tuning in into the first regular scheduling broadcast that we've had for the 2018 year. It's time to get on out of here. So I want to thank you. I want to thank our affiliate stations. Don't forget to go to our website. That's www.jlebang.com. Thank you all for listening. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, this is John LeBang signing off from the Banger Studios.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance is futile.
Hey, Geek, what's wrong with the tin can?
Oh, she's upset over my new creation.
And what's your new creation?
Oh, it's the iDoor 2000.
And you didn't think that was going to be a problem, huh?
I don't know what you mean.
You know how jealous women get?
I know, I should have thought of that.
You're in big trouble, fella.
Maybe I shouldn't have put that emotion chip in her.
Yeah, that was another dumb idea you did. Giving her emotions was like giving yourself an enema.
I wonder if God had second thoughts about giving women emotions.
I don't know. I'll ask him the next time I see him.
What do you mean?
Just never mind. Can I give you a piece of advice?
Oh, what's that?
Watch your back. Talk to you later, Geek.